Quinoa, quinoa, and quinoa once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Today I'm back with whole grain of the day, the one and only quinoa. So maybe you've tasted it, maybe you love it, maybe you've never heard of it, or maybe, just maybe, you pronounce it quinoa, right? Well, whatever the case may be, please listen on. Why? Because we're about to dive into the wonderful world of quinoa. All right, first up, a little bit of background information. Quinoa, pronounced quinoa, as you can see, I included the phonetic spelling, is a 7,000-year-old plant that originated in the mountainous regions of South America. Perfect, so now we know exactly where quinoa originates. While it is commonly known as an ancient grain, quinoa is technically not a grain or grain cereal, but it is a seed. Yes, a seed, and does not contain gluten. So there you have it, guys. We have just dispelled a few myths. Right, so for all of us who thought that quinoa was a whole grain, technically it's not. It's considered a seed. And maybe you thought quinoa was full of gluten, like other wheat, barley, and rye products, but you were wrong. Believe it or not, guys, quinoa is gluten-free. Woohoo! Also, although there are actually about 120 varieties throughout the world, the Whole Grains Council has only commercialized 3 for sale. That would be red, white, and black quinoa. Now, please take a look at the picture. There you have a great representation of the 3 types that are commercially sown. We have the black, we have the red, and we have the white. So there you have it, guys. Just a little bit of background information about quinoa. All right, now it's time to dive into a few fun facts. After its explosive rise to the top of the world wide eye on healthy nutrition, quinoa nutrition was recognized by the United Nations in 2013 as a potential factor in eradicating hunger, malnutrition, and poverty. Wow, who knew? Also, because quinoa has a broad nutritional profile and is easy and inexpensive to cultivate, the UN declared 2013 as the year of quinoa. So there you have it, guys. Perhaps if you were born in the year 2013, then I guess you would be considered a child of quinoa. So guys, there you have it. Just a few fun facts and a few nonsensical facts from Coach D. All right. Now that we've covered a few fun facts and a little bit of background information, let's now talk about the 520 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the 520 rule is all about food labels. Yes, food labels. Basically, it's a guide. It's a guide to let us know whether or not a food item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, when we talk about the 520 rule, specifically we're talking about percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now, let's take a look at our diagram, right? So as you can see, the diagram, notice that some percentages and a little bit of text are highlighted in the color lavender, or some people may call it dark pink, or maybe even purple. As you can see, the words percent daily value, and then you have a whole column of percentages highlighted. Well, here's what you got to understand, is that when we talk about percent DV, really what we're talking about is whether or not the food item is offering sufficient amounts of particular nutrients. So if we take a look at our sample picture, notice that some nutrients are highlighted in yellow and others are highlighted in blue. Now, those that are highlighted in yellow, such as total fat, cholesterol, and sodium, well, those are the types of nutrients that you definitely do not want a lot of. So when it comes to total fat, cholesterol, and sodium, unfortunately, those 3 do a very good job at causing diet-related diseases such as obesity, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. And let's not forget heart disease. Now, notice that there are other nutrients that are highlighted in blue, such as dietary fiber, your vitamins, and your minerals. Now, those are the types of nutrients that you definitely want to get more of. Why? Because instead of causing disease, they cause you to become healthier. So, when talking about the 520 rule, it's important to know your percentages. So, if a food item offers anywhere from 0% to 9%, then it is not a good source of that particular nutrient. If the food item offers 10% to 19%, then it is considered a good source of that particular nutrient. Lastly, if the food item offers 20% or greater, then it is considered an excellent source of that particular nutrient. All right, so now that we are fully aware of the 520 rule, let's now dive into a few fun facts about quinoa. So for these nutrition facts, we're going to simply say that 1 cup of cooked quinoa is a single serving. So whenever we consume 1 cup of cooked quinoa, here's what we're going to put into our bodies. We're going to get 222 calories, only 4 grams of fat, 13 milligrams of sodium, which by the way is very small, 39 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fiber, which is amazing, and 8 grams of protein. Nice. So for those of us who are vegan or vegetarian and you're looking for an excellent source of plant-based protein, quinoa is definitely up your alley. Now, let's dive into the minerals and the vitamins. So first up is manganese, coming in at a whopping 58% DV. So based on the 520 rule, quinoa is an excellent source of manganese. Next up is magnesium, coming in at 30%. So once again, 30% is greater than 20%. So 1 cup of cooked quinoa is an excellent source of magnesium. Next up is phosphorus, coming in at 28%. So it is an excellent source. Folate, coming in at 19%, makes it a good source. Copper, 18%, makes it a good source. Iron, nice, coming in at 15% DV, makes quinoa a good source of iron. Next up is thiamine, coming in at 13%, makes it a good source. Zinc, 13% as well, also a good source of zinc. Next up is riboflavin, coming in at 12%. So 1 cup of cooked quinoa is a good source of riboflavin. Next up is vitamin B6, coming in at 11%. So it qualifies to be a good source. Next up, we have potassium, only 9%. So technically, it's not a good source of potassium. Then we have selenium coming in at 7%. So technically, it's not a good source of selenium. And lastly, we have vitamin E coming in at 6%. So technically, 1 cup of cooked quinoa is not a good source of vitamin E. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the nutrition facts of quinoa. All right. Now it's time to dive into the health benefits. But before we do, Coach D wants to very quickly talk about a topic that is very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what you have to understand, is that in order for the health benefits to happen, okay, you must put the right stuff in your body. Ultimately, what Coach D is talking about is the principle of cause and effect. Now, some of us have probably heard of it before, maybe in relation to the natural laws of the universe, or we can say it's one of the 7 hermetic principles. However you want to term it, it doesn't really matter, but it definitely applies to the nutrition facts and the health benefits. So in other words, whenever you consume quinoa and it's providing you with all those amazing nutrients that I just went over in the nutrition facts, believe it or not, those are the causes. Now, the health benefits happen to be the effects. So let's go through them. Number 1, quinoa aids in weight loss, right? So if you're looking to lose a little bit of weight, it's definitely time to eat more quinoa. Next up, it is a nutritious gluten-free alternative, right? So if you're suffering from celiac disease or any type of gluten intolerance, then quinoa is definitely the grain for you. Also, it may help fight cancer. Now, here's what you got to understand is that yes, quinoa definitely has its fair share of vitamins and minerals, but it also has its abundance of different types of phytochemicals, or we can use the term phytonutrients. Now, there are some that I want to bring to light that are ultimately responsible for fighting off cancer. Say hello to saponin, lunacin, as well as quercetin. Okay, I hope I pronounced that correctly. So those are the three phytochemicals or phytonutrients that aid in combating cancer. Also, quinoa supports a healthy heart. Now, yes, there are certain nutrients that are found in quinoa that help it to do that. So I want to say hello to alpha linolenic acid, butyrate, potassium, and magnesium. Yes, so it is those four phytonutrients that are responsible for maintaining a healthy heart. Also, quinoa is a complete protein source. So what does that mean? It simply means that quinoa contains all 9 essential amino acids. In other words, those are the amino acids that the human body does not produce in sufficient amounts. Instead, they must be acquired through food, specifically plant foods. Next up, quinoa contains disease-fighting antioxidants. Now, we all know that antioxidants are very, very important. Why? Because they help to fight off cancer. They also help to keep your heart healthy, and they help to slow down the aging process. So, of course, we want to get more antioxidants in our diet, right? So at this time, I want to give a few antioxidants just a little bit of love. So say hello to polyphenols, camphorol, vanillic acid, ferulic acid, and beta-carotene. Nice. Also, quinoa helps keep your gut healthy by decreasing inflammation. Now, which particular nutrients in quinoa do that? Well, say hello to prebiotics, butyrate is back, and say hello to succinic acid. Now, for those of you who've never heard of prebiotics before, try not to get them confused with probiotics. Guys, basically prebiotics are different types of fibers that are consumed, or shall I say digested, by our intestinal flora. In other words, prebiotics are little pieces of fiber that the microorganisms inside of your body, specifically inside of your colon, well, they eat that fiber. And as a result, they produce all types of beneficial compounds. And last but not least, quinoa supports bone health and it reduces diabetes risk. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We now know the health benefits of the one and only quinoa. All right. Now it's time for us to go to our website for everything vegan. Say hello to forksoverknives.com. And don't forget to watch the movie. It's entitled Forks Over Knives. So as usual, I went to the website, did just a little bit of research on quinoa, and look at what I found. 2 amazing vegan quinoa recipes that I want to share with you right now. Now the first one is entitled Red Beans and Quinoa. Take a look at the picture. Looks amazing. The second recipe is Fiesta Quinoa Salad. Take a look at that picture. Looks scrumptious, right? So here's the thing. If you are inclined to make either one of these dishes, I want to encourage you to click on the description box. Why? Because I'm including a direct link to both of these recipes. Now, here's the really good thing, is that when you go to the website forksoverknives.com, the website is going to give you a lot of great information, such as the cooking time, the ingredient list, and the instructions, as well as some beautiful pictures and maybe even a video. So please click on the link, make the dish, taste the dish, and please let Coach D know how it tastes by writing your response in the comment box below. All right, 23% Nation, I hear you. A lot of you say, Well, Coach D, I want to thank you for the recipes. I appreciate the fun facts. I love learning about the health benefits. But what I really want to know is, when should I eat more quinoa? Well, 23% Nation, the perfect day, and I do mean the perfect day, is Nature Day. Yes, Nature Day. Nature Day happens to be the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, perhaps you've never heard of the challenge before, so allow Coach D to educate you very quickly. Guys, the 23% challenge is basically a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships. Oh, and by the way, it also helps to save planet Earth. Now, once again, it is a monthly 7-day wellness program. So basically, it only lasts for 7 days. That's right, only 1 week. Now, here's the thing. It happens to be the first 7 days of every single month. So, whether it's July 1st through the 7th or even December 1st through the 7th, it's always the 23% challenge. Now, here's the thing about Nature Day. Nature Day is actually the first day of the challenge, which basically makes it the first day of every single month. So whether it's April 1st, May 1st, or June 1st, it's always Nature Day. All right. So perhaps now that you're interested in Nature Day, maybe you want more details about it. Well, here we go. Guys, Nature Day is all about getting closer to nature. Now, yes, there are lots of things you can do to get closer to nature, such as go take a dip in the ocean, or maybe go to a zoo and pet a few animals, right? But the way in which I want you to get closer to nature is by simply eating it. That's right, guys. It's time to eat more plants, right? Put the good stuff in, that way the good stuff comes out. So, if you are considering adopting a more whole food plant-based diet, or maybe you've been considering just eating more plants, right? Coach D wants to offer you 3 different avenues that you can travel down that'll definitely help you out. So first I want to discuss what a 3% vegan is. Well, a 3% vegan is anyone, man, woman, or child, who decides to eat only plant foods and drink only water only 1 day out of an entire month, right? Next up is a 13% vegan. Now a 13% vegan, once again, they only eat plants and they only drink water, but rather than only 1 day, they have stepped it up to 4 days out of an entire month. Now, there are a few ways in which you can do this. You can select any 4 days of the month that you want. You can do the first 4 days, or if a month has 4 weeks, then you can do 1 day per week, right? Now, lastly is a 23% vegan. Now, technically, that's what Coach D considers himself to be, is a 23% vegan. So what does that mean? Well, it simply means that for the first 7 days of every single month, I only eat from the 5 food groups of plant foods, and they happen to be all fruits, all vegetables and herbs, all whole grains, all nuts and seeds, and let's not forget about legumes, meaning beans and peas. And of course, I only drink water as my selected beverage. So there you have it, guys. We now know a little more about Nature Day. All right. Now, maybe you are so turned on about Nature Day that you want more information about it. Well, here we go, guys. Coach D is about to offer you just a few tips. Why? Because I want your Nature Day to be very successful. So, first tip is to go visit your local grocery store. Now, the reason why you want to go visit your local grocery store is because that's where you're going to go purchase all of your plant foods from. Now, it's important that you know where to go while in the grocery store, right? Because there are lots of places that you can go and you can get the right stuff or you can get the wrong stuff. So when you go to your grocery store, please only hang out in the produce section. Why? Because that's where all the fruits and vegetables and other plant foods are located. Now you can also walk on over to the grocer's freezer, because they have frozen fruits, frozen vegetables, and also frozen legumes. And believe it or not, the frozen varieties can be just as nutritious as the fresh options. Second tip is to go visit a farmer's market. Yes, a farmer's market. Believe it or not, farmers markets are amazing. Why? Well, for a few reasons. Number one, there are quite a few advantages to shopping at a farmer's market over a local grocery store. For instance, usually the produce is going to be organically certified, meaning the owners of the farmers market, they only sell local produce that is grown organically. Also, because it's only coming from local farmers, that means less transportation time for the produce, which ultimately means less pesticides and less herbicides. And once again, because it's local, that means less travel time, which means less gas for the farmer, which means lower prices for you. My third tip. Now, this is us going back to the grocery store, but rather than go to the produce section or to the grocer's freezer aisle, instead we're going to go to the prepared dishes section, which may also be called the kitchen of the store, right? Now, here's the thing. When you walk over to the prepared dishes section, I would like for you to talk to the person behind the counter. Ask that person if they have any vegan or vegetarian options. Hopefully they say yes, then ask for a taste sample. They'll be happy to provide you one. Now, once they give it to you, hopefully you like it, and then you can purchase your food by the pound or maybe even 2 pounds. And my fourth tip to have a successful nature day is to go visit a vegan restaurant, right? But don't just visit them, actually sit down and eat the food and enjoy the ambiance, okay? Now, some of us may not be aware that vegan restaurants exist. Well, I'm here to let you know that they do. So if you don't know where one is, just do a quick Google search. Simply type in vegan restaurants near me, and in less than half of a second, Google will give you all of the best nearest options to you. Now, if you decide to go, do two things. Number one, let them know that Coach D sent you. And number two, be sure to order something with quinoa in it. All right, it's time for our question of the day, which comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. We want to know, which quinoa recipe do you prefer? Is it the first one, the second one, or maybe, just maybe, you know of a vegan quinoa recipe that you would like to share with us? So whether you want to take one of mine or share one of yours, please write your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. Now, before I sign out, I gotta ask you to please subscribe, like, and share the video, especially if you love quinoa. Also, don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag eat more plants. As stated before, my name is Coach D. I'm about to sign out, but before I do, I gotta tell you, never ever forget, take care, God bless, and always remember that Coach D loves you.